Your brain is lying to you. Right now, as you watch this, your brain is functioning as a prediction machine. It takes a tiny bit of real-world data and immediately builds a massive, dramatic story around it. If you have ever thought, if I mess up this presentation, my career is over, or they didn't text me back, so they must hate me, that is your brain playing a dirty trick on you. In the world of psychology, two massive tools are used to fix this: cognitive therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Most people use these terms interchangeably, but they are actually completely different strategies. Understanding the difference is the ultimate cheat code to mastering your decisions, smashing your goals, and completely curing analysis paralysis. Think of your mind like a smartphone. Cognitive therapy is a software update. It rewrites the broken code, the bad thoughts, and the mental bugs inside your head. CBT is a complete system overhaul. It updates the software, but it also forces you to change how you physically use the phone. It targets both your thoughts and your real-world actions. Today, we are going to look at the exact neuroscience of how these two methods differ and how you can use a simple 3-step psychological framework called the 3 C's to reprogram your mind for precise decision-making in real life. Let's dive in. To understand why this matters, we have to look back at the 1960s. A psychiatrist named Dr. Aaron T. Beck noticed that people struggling with anxiety and depression shared a common trait. They had constant, automatic negative thoughts. He created cognitive therapy, which targets the way we perceive situations. The core rule of cognitive therapy is simple. Situations don't make you upset. Your thoughts about the situation make you upset. Imagine 2 people are stuck in a massive traffic jam. Person A thinks, "This is unfair. My whole day's ruined." Result? Their blood pressure spikes, they slam the steering wheel, and they arrive at work furious. Person B thinks, "Well, I can't change the traffic, so I might as well listen to my favorite podcast." Result? They stay completely calm. The exact same situation produced 2 completely different realities based entirely on a single thought. Cognitive therapy focuses almost entirely on fixing that thought process. But then, modern psychology realized something massive. Sometimes just thinking differently isn't enough. You have to act differently. That is where cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, comes in. CBT takes cognitive therapy and adds behavioral challenges. It doesn't just ask you to change your mind. It forces you to do real-world experiments to prove your brain's fears are entirely false. Why does combining thoughts and actions work so well? The answer is hidden deep inside your brain's architecture. Deep in your emotional brain sits the amygdala. This is your evolutionary alarm bell. When you face a stressful decision or a scary goal, your amygdala screams, "Danger! Run away!" It reacts instantly before you can even think. But you also have the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex right behind your forehead. This is your brain's logic center, responsible for executive control and decision-making. Massive neural imaging data proves that when humans practice cognitive reframing, it fires up the prefrontal cortex, which actively downregulates and quiets down the overactive amygdala. You are physically turning down the volume of your fear center. To do this in real life, you don't need a couch or a therapist. You just need to run the 3 C's framework every time you feel stressed, stuck, or indecisive. Step 1 is catch it. The moment you feel a spike of anxiety, anger, or laziness, pause immediately. Do not react. Instead, catch the exact sentence running through your head. Neuroscience shows that simply labeling your emotion or typing it out instantly reduces amygdala reactivity. You transition from feeling the panic to absorbing it. For example, you want to pitch a bold new idea at work, but you hesitate. You pause and catch the thought. If I say this, everyone will think I'm incompetent. Step 2 is check it. Treat your thought like a suspect in a criminal investigation. Put it on trial. Look for hard, objective evidence. Is it a fact, or is it just a feeling? Ask yourself, what is the actual data supporting this? Have you done your research? Yes. Have your past ideas been decent? Yes. There is zero evidence that people will think you are incompetent. Your brain is suffering from a cognitive bias. Step 3 is change it. Now, rewrite the script. Swap the irrational thought for an objective, accurate statement. This isn't toxic positivity, it is realistic logic. Change "they will think I'm stupid" to "this is a data-backed idea, and even if they disagree, it shows I am actively thinking about growth." Now, this is where we cross the bridge from pure cognitive therapy over to cognitive behavioral therapy. Changing your thoughts in your head is a fantastic start, but to permanently wire that change into your brain, you need action. You need a behavioral experiment. Research on behavioral experiments highlights how they act as a fast track for learning. When you take a physical action that contradicts your fear, your brain experiences a massive shift in perspective. Think about the famous psychological concept of the white bear. If I tell you right now, whatever you do, do not think about a white bear, what happens? Your brain instantly floods with images of white bears. If you try to forcefully fight a negative thought by just sitting in your room screaming "stop thinking it," it backfires. CBT solves this by telling you to ignore the thought and focus on an experiment instead. Let's say your goal is to scale your business or post your first video on social media, but your brain predicts, "if I do this, I will fail publicly and look ridiculous." The cognitive therapy approach means you change the thought to "failure is part of learning." The CBT approach means you physically post the video. You intentionally run the experiment to gather the data. When the video goes live, guess what happens? The world doesn't end. Nobody laughs at you. In fact, a few people leave nice comments. When your prefrontal cortex sees this real-world data, it updates your neural superhighways. It realizes your fear was entirely an illusion. That is how you pursue goals precisely, by treating your life like a laboratory and your fears like bad hypotheses that need to be tested. This completely transforms how you make decisions in your life. Most people make major choices based on emotional reasoning. They think, "I feel terrified about quitting this job I hate. Therefore, quitting must be a dangerous, terrible decision." They confuse the feeling of fear with actual danger. When you master the 3 C's of CBT, you completely decouple emotion from logic. You start making optimized choices based on reality, not anxieties. If you want to start using this tool today, you can find incredible step-by-step templates online, like the Positive Psychology CBT guides or the Pearl Institute behavioral templates, which give you exact frameworks to track your thoughts and map out your real-world experiments. Start small. Treat your next anxious thought not as an absolute truth, but as a theory waiting to be disproven. Your mind can be your greatest asset, or your worst jailer. The choice depends entirely on whether you let your automatic thoughts run the show, or if you step up, put on your detective hat, and use the 3 C's. I want to challenge you right now. What is one automatic negative thought your brain has been whispering to you this week? Drop it in the comments below, and let's practice catching, checking, and changing it together as a community. If you found this breakdown valuable, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to stop overthinking. Thank you for watching, train your brain, and I will see you in the next video.